Hello and welcome back to an exciting episode of Check with Tech, your guide to all things tech. I'm your host Yaseen Azzam, and wow, CES 2020 has been amazing so far. As of the date of this recording, this is the last day of CES, so this episode will be mostly dedicated to everything announced there. So let's start with the OnePlus Concept 1. It's in the name, it's a concept phone. It won't be shipping anytime soon, so it's just a hint about the future of smartphones. But nonetheless, it is just as exciting as any other smartphone that's releasing soon. Okay, so what makes it a concept phone? Well, for some reason, OnePlus put a glass pane in front of the cameras, the lenses. So why? Okay, so hear me out. Okay, this glass is called electrochromic glass. Basically what it does is it can switch from tinted and dark to transparent with a button. Yes, I'm being very serious. It's basically like hiding your camera setup in a cloth. It's the same thing, but it's not as accurate or as useful, I would say, as before. Because I mean, I'm happy with how my camera setup looks, how it looks on the back, but I think that some people don't. They want to hide it, but yeah. So the phone is drawing inspiration from the McLaren 720S Spider that also uses that same electrochromic glass as a sunroof. So that's basically all that this phone has to offer. It takes 0.7 seconds for the glass panel to switch. Okay, that's actually very fast. Apparently it's faster than how much it takes for the camera app to load, but it can also be used as a density filter, so that's nice. If you want to darken the photo, you can do that. So overall, it's excellent. It looks gorgeous. I only wish that it had something else to convince me that it's really a concept phone that I'm looking forward to in the future. But hey, let's talk about something else, shall we? So Sony, they had a very interesting presentation in CES. One of them, they talked about their new car, which we'll talk about later. But now we'll talk about the overhyped PlayStation 5. So get this. Sony just announced the PlayStation 5's logo. They didn't actually announce it, they just announced the logo and some very vague features about it. So, what is the logo? Exactly what you get from the leaks. I am very serious. Imagine the letter P on the PS logo, flip it, put a line, and there you go. You have the 5. That's everything it took to make that logo. But okay, what does it have? Okay, disclaimer, this is not everything that the PlayStation 5 will differ from the PlayStation 4. This is just what we have on the date of this recording, January 10. So it's not going to be the entire console's hardware features. So I have 3D audio sound, haptics and adaptive triggers on the controllers, ultra high speed SSD, hardware-based ray tracing, and Ultra HD Blu-ray. I think that most of these features were already on the PS4 Pro. I'm not sure, but okay, they're very vague. I can definitely say that, but I mean, they did a smart move by not actually telling us how it looks, what it really has, because I think they're saving it up for E3. But hey, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Okay, let's talk about the Sony car, shall we? This is actually one of the biggest surprises on CES history, I guess. But yes, Sony made an electric car, but they have no plans of selling it. They're just trying to show what they can do. So, okay. But of course, Sony isn't the only people that worked on it, because this is the first car that they've manufactured. So they had some help with Bosch, Continental, Nvidia, and Qualcomm, and of course others. So, okay, they're calling it the Vision S. Huh. Sure, okay. So what does it have? Well, of course, best audio and a lot of sensors, 33 sensors from inside and outside, 360 audio speakers, a really wide screen, and of course AI software. The UI is new and it has cloud computing. So it's basically Sony as a car. So of course, this is the only time we get to see something like this from Sony. But hey, we're not complaining. This is what CES is all about. So what else do we have about cars? Well, Mercedes is going really futuristic with this one. It's called the Vision AVTR concept car. Of course, from the name, you can imagine that it is inspired from the 2009 hit movie Avatar. Yes, I'm looking at the pictures right now and it's stunning. There are lights on the wheels. It basically looks like... I don't know how to describe it. I mean, the wheels are very spherical. They look like donuts. And Mercedes says that they were inspired by the seeds of the Tree of Souls from the movie. You're looking at a guy who never watched Avatar, so I have no idea what they're talking about. But, okay, what else does it have? It doesn't have a steering wheel, so it's supposed to be autonomous, meaning that it's self-driving. And it can move diagonally and sideways. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Avatar car can move sideways. What? Okay, but instead of a steering wheel, you have an oval-shaped controller, and once you hold it, it can vibrate with the pace of your breathing and heart rate. Okay, so it's basically showing how a human and a robot can become one. I don't know how to describe how it looks. You really have to see the pictures yourself. But I can say that there are scales on the back. 33 actually. But Mercedes likes to call them bionic flaps for some reason. But okay, we're not complaining. And they can be used to communicate with other cars and other drivers. So, okay, it's just a concept car. This is CES we're talking about, so we should expect something weird. But it actually looks very gorgeous, I can say. The scales make it look even more futuristic. It's out of this world, because it's not even in this world, I assume, because Avatar. Okay, let's move on to something else, shall we? I'm not sure if you know this, but if you want to build a PC, it's hard. Of course, I mean, everybody thought of that before even trying to build a computer. But no, but seriously, it's really scary. You can do one thing, you move a muscle and you practically waste $1,000 on nothing. So building PCs is really scary. So that's why Intel and Razer are teaming up to create what they call the Razer Tomahawk. What is that? Well, it's a very small PC. Heck, it's a very small gaming PC that makes customizing your computer very easy and almost foolproof. but I'm getting ahead of myself. It can get up to 64 gigabytes of RAM, a 9th gen processor from Intel, up to an i9, of course. Of course, you can choose your GPU, up to a NVIDIA RTX 2080 Super, and you put those in the slots in the case, and bada bing, bada boom, you have a fully fledged computer. So this is actually very new. I don't know if anyone else tried to do that. I mean, Intel is doing it on their own, but this will make it easier for people to build PCs on a budget. But I'm not sure if this is going to be on a budget because it's so small. I'm surprised that it even has all of these components and these slots. But I'm looking forward to this, and it's launching in sometime in the first half of 2020. Speaking of computers, AMD just crushed Intel at CES and their presentations. What did they announce? Well, okay, let's start with the big thing. Their new processor, the Threadripper 3990X. It's basically a processor that has 64 cores and 128 threads. What? So to flex on us, they actually tried to compete it against the Intel Xeon Platinum 8280S. And how much did the Intel one cost? $20,000. But here on the AMD Ryzen 3990X, it only cost $3990. Nice. And it's actually 30% faster when rendering videos. So how? AMD is just crushing Intel in terms of price and performance. But let's see what else they have. They also announced a graphics card for 1080p gaming. Sure, okay, some people can still use Full HD instead of 4K or Ultra HD. We're not complaining. Okay, so what did they launch? It's called the AMD Radeon RX 5600 XT with 6 gigabytes of GDDR6 and 36 compute units. So, yes. And how much does it cost? Roughly the same price as the NVIDIA 1660 Ti. So, wow, that's really good. And it may come on laptops soon. Okay, what else? Okay, the last highlight of their presentation was the announcement of the AMD Ryzen 4000 for laptops. So, wow. It has up to 8 cores and clock speeds for up to 4.2 gigahertz in the Ryzen 7 4800U, but that's just with 18 watts of power. And with 15% higher IPC, you can expect much more performance and strength, I guess. I mean, of course, AMD is just, I mean, I know I'm saying this a lot of times, but I cannot believe how fast AMD is growing compared to Intel. So now you're probably asking, what did Intel show? And I'll tell you. Okay, so foldables had a sort of a comeback in hype in CES. Intel was probably one of those factors because they announced their Horseshoe Bend prototype PC. It's kind of like a Galaxy Fold, but it's a laptop. It's a folding, the entirety of the laptop is a screen that could be bent. Yes. When it's opened, it's 17.3 inches, and when it's When it's closed, it's a 12.5-inch screen laptop. And of course, kind of like how Microsoft are doing with the Surface Neo, you can use the lower half of the screen as a keyboard, or you can just snap a real one, or just leave it as it is. But it's new with actually folding screens and laptops, because as I said a long time ago in the Surface, it's just two screens with a hinge. Okay, what else does it have? Well, it has their new mobile chip, the Tiger Lake, 4.3 aspect ratio with pen compatibility, and OLED touch screen. And I mean, that's it. But then again, they won't actually sell it. They'll just sell the concept or the idea. It's the same as like selling a tutorial on how to build that PC. But I am intrigued and surprised. But then again, it is CES. Okay, the last headline regarding computers and chipsets: Alienware, yes, or you can call it Dell. I don't have a problem. They're making a Switch. No, not a light Switch. They're making a Nintendo Switch. Okay, what do I mean by that? Well, let's go back. It's called the Concept UFO. It's almost the same as how a Nintendo Switch works. You can remove the Joy-Cons. I'll just call them that until they actually announce what they're called. You can remove the Joy-Cons from the actual screen. I'm not sure if you can dock it yet, but Alienware says that it's a full gaming PC. Do I believe that? Absolutely not. I'm not sure that you can put this much computing power and so many chipsets in little space. And they said it can run full Windows 10. Okay, that I can believe. But why can't I believe those claims? Well, because I have a Switch and I can honestly say that it's not as powerful as a PS4 or Xbox One. But, I mean, it can run most AAA games, but I'm not sure that Alienware could do it. But we're getting ahead of ourselves, so we're not even sure if it actually works. Let's just talk about how it looks. It's not a final design, but the buttons and the analog sticks are, for me, they're just way too close to each other. I mean, even on the Switch, it's kind of spread out, but it's just way too close, and it has so much space. Thick bezels, even thicker on the bottom, and that's it. So, Concept UFO, I'm not sure if I'm looking forward to it, but again, I'm intrigued, but it's CES. Okay, so CES is known for its weird gadgets, so we'll spend the rest of the episode talking about that. So beware, this is in no order from weird to good. I mean, all of them are concepts, some of them are actually being released soon. So yeah, get ready. So Royal, they're making a smart speaker with an 8-inch AMOLED touch display. Where do they put that? Around the body. Yes, it's a fully flexible display because the body is a cylinder, so therefore the screen is taking the shape of that cylinder, and it's taking almost the entirety of the body. Why? Why does this have to be on a smart speaker? Sure, why not? But I would have liked it if the screen was only like half of the body, but okay, I can imagine like uses for that. Sure. It's going to be available on the second quarter of this year, so from April to June, I believe, and it's going to cost $899. $900 for smart speaker with a plastic screen around it. Okay, thank God Charmin exists. So it's a not so known company that made basically the solution to world peace. Okay, I'm being sarcastic. It's just a funny joke. Okay, what did they do? They made a robot called the Rollbot that can get you toilet paper when you're out. Yes. If you don't have any toilet paper, robot can just go to the other room, bring some toilet paper, and give it back to you back. Okay. I mean, this is very useful, but it looks so cute, and I don't want it to go to my bathroom. But why? But then again, okay. It also has a sensor that determines when the air is clear before you go inside the bathroom. So, okay, this is CES, yes. So I'm not sure why I'm this surprised. Okay, final thoughts about this. This is golden. This is a golden opportunity for Charmin to be like the heroes of CES. So, Rollbot can deliver toilet paper, and it has a sensor to tell you when it's right to go to the bathroom. Okay, next. The Y brush is finally here. If you don't know what I'm talking about, and there's a French company called Fastiche. Am I pronouncing it correctly? Fastiche. They basically made like a mouth guard that is also acting like a motorized toothbrush, but since it covers all of your teeth, it can clean your teeth in just 10 seconds. Hold up, this is a miracle. So what do you mean? Well, it's kind of like a stick where you put in your mouth with a mouth guard shaped. I don't know what they call it, but you get the point. It's a mouth guard that cleans your teeth in 5 seconds. It costs $125, which is better than what Colgate and Oral-B does in any of their toothbrushes. So, I think you can order it now. Yes, it's $125. It's a mouth guard that cleans your teeth in 10 seconds. This is CES, ladies and gentlemen. You've heard of robotic dogs. Now get ready for Mars Cat. It's a robotic cat from Elephant Robotics. Okay, it's a fully autonomous robot that can act as a cat. It can respond to touch, voice, and can even play with your toys. And that's all like I can tell you. It can basically do anything. It has an AI software that can imagine what a cat can do without any input. So yes, now robotic cats exist. And now there are robots that can make pizza. Yes, at CES, a company called Picnic announced, they didn't actually announce, they showed and tried a robot that can make pizza out of any ingredient and any order that you can choose. So, I'm very hungry, so I can't try this out. But I guess the last day of CES, so I'm not sure if I can make it. But last but certainly not least is the Segway S-Pod. Okay, Segway is known for their self-balancing vehicle, but now they're making it like a throne or a wheelchair. They're taking wheelchairs to the next level. Okay, so imagine like a chair with 2 wheels and an analog stick like you can find on any video game controller. and you can use that analog stick to configure the movement of the S-Pod, and that's it. But of course, it's very rare for you to move, and it can go for up to 24 miles an hour. It's said that it could release in the third quarter of 2020, so around fall. Okay, what else do we have? Intel, yes, we're not done with Intel, may have confirmed the existence of Thunderbolt 4. Okay, so first of all, what is Thunderbolt? Well, it's a port that is faster than most ports today. So Thunderbolt 3 is the most advanced right now, and it uses USB-C and has speeds for up to 40 gigabits per second. Yeah, it's that fast. So during Intel's showcase, they teased the existence of Thunderbolt 4, which says is 4 times faster than USB 3.2 generation 2. Okay, but here's the weird thing. USB 3.2 has speed of 10 gigabits per second. So 4 times 10, I don't know if you can do the math, and to get 40, which is exactly the same as Thunderbolt 3. So theoretically, it would be exactly the same as Thunderbolt 3. So Thunderbolt 4 doesn't have to exist yet. But that's all we know. And I'm not sure if this is actually what's going to happen when Thunderbolt 4 will become used everywhere. So I'm curious. But, okay. Now, Samsung had a pretty incredible CES showcase. They announced just so many things. So that's why I dedicated most of this episode to this. Okay, to start, let's look at the surprise releases of the S10 Lite and the kind of expected the Note 10 Lite. Okay, so what do both of them have? Both of them have a 6.7-inch Full HD Plus AMOLED display with a punch hole cut out on the center, kind of like the Note 10. And that selfie camera is 32 megapixels. Both of them have a 4500 mAh battery, 128 gigs of storage, and 6 or 8 gigs of RAM. And they are the first Samsung phones to come with a One UI 2 based on Android 10 out of the box. So this is very exciting so far. I mean, this is the first Samsung phone with Android 10 out of the box. You don't have to wait that long, but it took some time for them to do that, but okay. For some reason, both of those phones have different camera setups, but okay. But both of them have 3 cameras on the back, but they are different. Okay, so the S10 Lite has 48 megapixel regular camera with super steady OIS, and a 5 megapixel macro camera, and a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera. The Note 10 Lite has 3 12 megapixel sensors. One is the regular f1.7 with dual pixel autofocus, and the others are telephoto and ultra wide. Regular. Okay, and also the chipset is different. On the S10 Lite, you have the Snapdragon 855, and the Note 10 Lite has the Exynos 9810. And I mean, both of them are almost equal in performance, but there is a problem with the Exynos chip and the battery. I mean, I have an Exynos variant of the S9, and it doesn't last very long compared to the Snapdragon one. But of course, the Note 10 Lite wouldn't exist without the S Pen. It's exactly the same as the Note 10, to cut it short. So that's it. That's all I can tell you. But how does it look? Well, it's the Note 10 Lite is almost exactly the same as I talked about a couple of episodes ago, but the S10 Lite is almost the same. That's it. So okay, let's just move on quickly. Okay, so we finished with phones. Let's now go to laptops. We know the Galaxy Book Flex, the Galaxy Book Ion, the Galaxy Book Flex Alpha, but now they just announced the new Galaxy Chromebook, which runs on Chrome OS, if you didn't know that. It's thin, 0.38 inches thin, to be precise. It has a 13.3-inch 4K AMOLED touchscreen display, and almost no bezels except on the bottom and the top. It does have HDR 400 certification, 10th gen Intel Core i5 CPU, and maybe Intel Core i7 in the future. Wi-Fi 6, micro SD card slot, fingerprint reader, 6 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte of SSD storage, a built-in stylus. It's the Galaxy Book Flex all over again. It's a 2-in-1 laptop. It comes in 2 colors, Fiesta Red and Mercury Gray. Okay, so what can I tell you about these laptops? Well, it's a regular laptop. As I said again, it's really thin. The screens look absolutely gorgeous. Fiesta Red is the best red color on a laptop I have ever seen. Mercury Gray is a little bit too light for me. I would have liked it a little bit darker. But Fiesta Red, it's bright and in your face. Except, of course, for the bezels because they're black. Okay, and that's almost all they have. And it's going on sale sometime in the first quarter of 2020, and it will cost $1,000. $1,000, yes. From laptops to TVs. So, Samsung has a handful of new TVs to show. One of them is an 8K TV with absolutely no bezels at all. It's called the Q950 QLED TV, and it has a 65-inch, 75-inch, 82-inch, and a 98-inch variable. And what can I say? Imagine just screen, no bezels. This is that TV. Of course, with 8K surround sound, and basically everything that Samsung has to offer. And of course, let's not forget phone mirroring. Okay, yeah, some people do like to mirror their phone on the TV. So that's why Samsung made the Zero, which is a 43-inch TV that can rotate to either horizontal or vertical orientation to suit your needs. So if you want to watch some Instagram stories or TikToks, you could do that without having those spaces on the screens. And how do you control the orientation? Well, you just have to flip your phone. It's connected. And let's get to the wall. Yes, it's a 292-inch behemoth. That alone, without knowing any other spec of this TV, is almost mind-blowing. I don't think there is a wall that is 292 inches diagonally. But, of course, this won't go on sale because... Come on. But it's not exactly not getting sold. There are luxury versions of it, and of course hundreds of thousands of dollars. Of course, what do you expect? Okay, and if you want 8K, you can go up to a 150-inch version, but overall 292, over 24 feet or 7.4 meters, just too much. And it's micro LED. It's almost revolutionary. It's so big that I doubt that that any wall could withstand it. And of course, it will take up to 9,000 watts of power. Yeah, so technically, you either way, you get poor. You waste money on nothing. You install it, you get poor. You use it for just a second, your electricity bill is gonna be really high. Okay, so that's it with TVs. Let's now go on to the weird stuff, as I like to call it. First up, neon. What is neon? Well, it's an AI assistant, kind of like, Bixby, Google Assistant Siri, but now as a digital avatar. But of course, it's not fully ready for that kind of stuff. I mean, okay, look, here's how it works. You customize an avatar. You can interact with it. It can do things for you. It can apparently show emotions and intelligence. That's what Samsung says. And they can respond with latency of less than a few milliseconds. And they should also protect your privacy. Okay, I am not so sure about that. The final product, of course, isn't ready yet. I mean, they hesitated a little bit and tried their best to finish it before CES, but just the current version that we tested doesn't show any emotion at all. Its positioning and posture is just way too robotic, not human at all. But of course, I have faith that Samsung can do it. I hope they will do it because it sounds too good to be true, and I hope it really is true. So for now, all we have is just a few tests that didn't exactly succeed. We were just way too overhyped that we forgot to realize reality. But yeah, Gait Enhancing and Motivating System, or GEMS for short, is Samsung's next attempt at fitness. For now. What is it? Well, imagine Google glasses, those old AR glasses. Yeah, but now make them like extremely thick and wide, and boom, you have Samsung AR glasses, and add an exoskeleton around your waist and your thighs, and bada bing, bada boom, you have the gem. What is it for now? It's only for fitness tracking, and there's like a virtual fitness instructor when you actually test it. And of course, it kind of reminds me of Ring Fit Adventure, that silly game on the Switch. Okay. CES, and especially Samsung, is known for weird gadgets, and Samsung could afford that weird gadget, so why not? I mean, that's all we have about the gems. But now let's go to Bali, my favorite pet. What is or who is Bali? Well, it's a robot shaped as a ball, follows you around the house, acts as a remote to control all of your smart home devices, and is also a smart speaker at the same time. So it records everything. It's kind of like a security camera, and it can stream it to your phone. And as I said before, it can control smart home devices. Samsung called it a personal life companion. It has facial recognition, and it can track your motion. It can adjust to your pace, so when it's following you and you're going faster, it also can go faster. And it can understand body language and some of its motions. Okay. So if this is true, I mean, of course, it's not exactly alive yet. It's not fully functional. But if this exists, it might be actually better than Neon, because it's small, it's cute, it's colorful, and who doesn't want that? But that's all we have. It's a robotic ball that apparently can control your smart home devices. um, and can act as a pet, a security camera, and a smart speaker at the same time. So, yeah. Okay, now let's move to the last thing that Samsung announced in CES 2020, because we still have a few things that wasn't involved in 2020, but overall this is the last thing that we're going to talk about in 2020. The portable SSD T7 Touch is a hard drive, or SSD as you like to call it. I don't know. It's based on USB 3.2 Gen 2, of course. I mean, it's very fast. And for you to actually read and write what's inside, it has to read your fingerprint with its built-in fingerprint sensor. So yeah, fingerprint sensors are not only in just phones, tablets, laptops, government bases or anymore. It's now on portable SSD drives. Okay, of course there isn't a lot to talk about because it's just an SSD. It's not really the best. I would have liked it if it was Thunderbolt 3, so it can be 4 times faster than USB 3.2 Gen 2, as we talked about a little while back. And okay, so Dr. Mike Mang, who is the vice president of a brand product biz team at Samsung Electronics, said that consumers who are constantly on the go between work, play, and passion projects want to be able to securely carry their content with them. Now their data is secure thanks to the fingerprint recognition functionality incorporated into the product, which delivers industry-leading transfer speeds in a compact form factor. So the only question I have is, does it work with every device that it connects to? Sometimes you can put a regular SSD and it will just open up like that. You don't need anything to do. So I'm curious as to how the fingerprint reader will block that. But it's a very good idea. And it's very minimalistic as far as the design goes, only in black and white, and the fingerprint reader is surrounded by a kind of light blue LED strip that surrounds the fingerprint reader. But yeah, so as far as I can say, Samsung had a pretty good CES for this year, and now we can finally close the book and talk about something else. Okay, so Samsung is known for their secret meetings with partners and carriers so they can agree on their products. So DJ Co revealed the name of the Galaxy Fold 2, which is, drumroll please, the Samsung Galaxy Bloom. Yes, I mean, there is also a picture about how it looks, but it's very blurry. But as far as I can tell from the picture, it's pink on the outside, and it has a dual camera set up on the back, and that's it. That's all I can tell from the actual picture. But apparently, it's supposed to be marketed to women in their 20s. And it will be the first phone to shoot in 8K resolution. Okay. First of all, the Bloom was a surprise ended up in itself, but that marketing strategy is also okay. But remember that it's not exactly rumored. The attendee might have been lying. So for now, I'm just going to handle this with a grain of salt. It might be called the Samsung Galaxy Bloom, and it might be called something else. It might be called, who knows, the Galaxy Fold 2. But now the most interesting, the new S lineup for this year, of course, will be launched at the Unpacked event at February 11, and it's going to be called the S20, the S20 Plus and the S20 Ultra. Ooh. So Samsung chose this because we're in the 2020s, so it's keeping up with the new decade. The S20 Ultra is rumored to have 108 megapixel main rear camera and 100 times zoom. All of these phones will have 8K recording. So again, take this with a grain of salt. It's not truly confirmed yet. You still have to wait and around a month at the date of this recording. But if this is true, then I'm very excited. But then again, I'm a little bit confused at the bloom. I mean, until we know exactly what its name is, I will just believe that nothing happened at all. Lamborghini and Rivian, ladies and gentlemen, now have something in common. What is that? Both of them have Alexa. Yes, Amazon Alexa, the smart assistant, is now being added into Lamborghini and Rivian vehicles. Yes. Okay, I'm not really sure how that will work out, but I can imagine something like this because Google Assistant does exist and car mode does exist. So it would be very weird to find Alexa in Lamborghinis because I've always imagined it with Google Assistant, but now it makes sense with Alexa now that I think about it. So expect on your next Lamborghini/Rivian to find Alexa on your setup. Another thing that's having Alexa ready capabilities is a shower head. No, I'm not kidding. Okay, so Kohler, I don't know how to pronounce that company. Anyway, they're going to update its Moxie speaker shower head for the new decade with Amazon Alexa. It's a waterproof speaker that is attached to the shower head with magnets, and it can be removed for charging. The speaker lasts up to 5 hours of playback, and you can buy the speaker separately for $160 or the entire set for $230. I'm trying to imagine a scenario where someone uses Alexa or any smart assistant using their shower head out of all the products that you could use. I mean, you can't just put the water resistant speaker on separately, put it anywhere at the bathroom. It's very weird, I can say that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, marks the end of this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for listening to this podcast. I hope you enjoyed. Please listen to the other episodes and don't be afraid to leave your review on Apple Podcasts. As always, this is Yaseen Azzam signing out. See you next weekend.